Life is unfair. This became the running motif in Femecia's life because in her world, people receive magic blessings at the age of 5. Blessings ranked by number of stars, with 5 stars being the highest and most coveted in their society. She was blessed with the skill to tame monsters, only with 0 stars, a completely and utterly worthless rank, as she couldn't even tame small, meekly animals. The acceptance in the village she grew up in became rejection. The love she received from her parents became hate. She was forced to flee from her hometown while being chased by bounty hunters employed by her village. She changes her name to Ivy to take on a new identity. She cuts her hair so she can pass as a boy to avoid the hunters. She hasn't given up on life because there is something special about her. She was reincarnated from our world into the girl she is now, and the voice of her past gives her advice on how to live and who to be. She eventually meets a tiny slime who she befriends, named Sora. And now the weakest duo is on a quest to reach the capital, where she's been told she'll receive the purpose she's been missing. This is a heartfelt tale of the weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash. And in this episode, Ivy meets up with a group of adventurers known as Blazing Sword, who rescue her from some monsters. If you're new to the series, you can watch the first video that covers everything from the very beginning. It'll be linked in the description. But for now, let's get started and watch the story unfold. It's another wonderful day, with Sora happily bouncing as Ivy chases after him. But he seems somehow faster than he's ever been. After finding a place to rest, Ivy finally sits down for a drink, and Sora comes bouncing with joy, so full of energy. Whatever will she do with him? Ivy's past life reveals Sora must have evolved further after healing Ciel's wounds, but she doesn't know what that really means. Sora spots something and Ivy has to chase after him again, and they find Yamamo plants that have been all dug up, and Ivy gets a little nervous wondering how big the Nanoshi monsters are, falling to the ground at the thought of running from the dangerous boars. The bushes rustle behind her, increasing the fright. But oh, it's Ciel, the mighty Adondola beast, that now seems just like a giant floof when Ivy plays with her. Ivy just can't get enough of her beloved monsters. The night comes and Ivy enjoys some delicious rabbit skewers at the campfire. She thanks Ciel because she had caught so many for her, and giggles at the sight of Sora enjoying his dinner as well. She thinks about waking up early tomorrow so she can check on the field mice traps. But all is not at peace with the mysterious being watching her from the shadows. She checks her traps, but one after one, there doesn't seem to be a single mouse caught. But there's still meat left over from last night they can enjoy. Ivy then suddenly shivers at a chilling presence, and a black fog appears. Ivy makes a run for it, noting the black fog coming after her makes her feel sick. She eventually makes it to the ledge of a cliff, with nowhere else to run, and when she turns around to see it, she's astonished to find out it's not a monster, but what looks like to be a human causing this. Ciel comes in to give a mighty roar, making the human causing the fog to disappear, but only leaving Ivy with more questions about its origins. Ivy and Sora ride comfortably atop Ciel during their travels, but suddenly Ciel begins to get aggressive. There's an ogre scaling the cliff they're on, and one in front of them as well. Ivy puts Sora in the bag, then Ciel engages one of the ogres in combat, biting its arm and taking the ogre off the cliff into the water. Rocks start to fall above Ivy, and 4 other ogres come crashing down towards her, so she makes a run for it. She makes it into a barren forest, staring in horror wondering why there are so many straw dolls being hung amongst the trees. But she can't stand for too long, as the ogres are catching up. She runs in further, but trips a trap, giving the ogres a chance to surround her. One of the ogres jumps up to attack, but suddenly, fire blasts him away. A man comes in shouting, "Flame, attack!" and creates a burning tornado, with the fire spreading and cooking the ogres alive. The man then proudly says, "Did you see that? That firestorm assault belongs to me, Lachra," although now staring nervously seeing Ivy burning up in a trap. He's surprised to see a child trapped up there. Then, an archer scolds Lachra, saying he needs to learn to hold back, as he shoots Ivy down with her screaming before Lachra catches her. He asks her why she's here, but she doesn't get a chance to answer with an ogre swinging its club above them. They get away, landing on some big bouncy slimes, summoned by Lachra's friend, Mila, As she takes her slimes back, she says she'd expect no less of the blazing sword of the suppression squads, referring to Latra, and their two friends cut down the ogres behind them. Latra was just a little surprised by Ivy is all. Another ogre then goes to strike, getting taken down by the arrows of who we now know as Shifal. Shifal scolds Latra for making the traps, since they didn't even catch the ogres. But Latra deflects, saying, well, we got rid of them safely anyways. Afterwards, Ivy talks to the suppression squad. They're here because a lot of monsters have settled in this area, and they've been sent here to hunt them. The traps were meant to hunt ogres, but Latra sent the entire area ablaze, so there was little point in using them. They worry if Ivy is hurt at all, so giving her best boy voice impression, she replies, no sir, I'm alright. Thank you so much for saving me. She doesn't know how to refer to the group, so Latra tells her they're a group of adventurers known as the Blazing Sword. The man with white hair and the big sword is their leader, Seizelk. The man with the red hair and axe is Noga. There's Shifal, the archer of course, Latra, and Mila, known as the Green Gale. Ivy thanks them formally with her hood falling over her, giving everyone a good laugh. As they walk downhill towards their campsite, Shifal asks what she was doing here in the mountains. She tells them she was on her way to Atowa, from where she had just left Latome village. They're surprised to hear she came all the way from Latome here by herself, and we learn from Latra that they're all actually from Atowa. With monsters still being around the area, Seizelk tells Ivy to keep traveling with them because they're heading back to their town anyways. They find their campsite and start heading towards it. However, Ivy finds Ciel, who comes out of the bushes and cleanses herself like a proper cat. Ivy is happy to see Ciel at first, but is concerned that if anyone finds Ciel now, she'll probably be hunted. Ivy warns her cat to go hide, but it looks more like she's playing charades. Ciel just stares, as I'm pretty sure she doesn't understand at all. She eventually walks away, and Ivy takes off with the Blazing Sword group. Back at their campsite, many other adventurers are taking respite here as well, so the campsite has gotten a lot bigger. They've put monster repellent around the perimeter, so there's no fear of being attacked. At the Blazing Sword group's tent, Seizelk tells Ivy she can put her tent next to theirs. The group then heads out for their meeting, leaving Latra behind, who seems pretty nervous. He's nervous because he's on cooking duty tonight, but he's bad at cooking apparently. No matter how hard he tries, people always say that his food tastes strange or it's too gamey, and now he's too scared to cook. Ivy asks what kind of dishes he usually prepares. Despite how he looks, Latra has 3-star flame attack skills, so he grills, he roasts, torching everything in sight. Then he seasons with salt and pepper. This somehow only leaves Ivy nervous about his cooking, but she's happy to help him. She sprinkles the wild rabbit meat with herbs to remove the gaminess, and rubs in some salt for seasoning, then cuts the meat into bite-sized pieces to saute them evenly, and adds chopped vegetables to stew them in a pot with meat, adding more herbs here for aroma and flavor. Then, with this mo meat, she adds mildly spicy herbs and fries it in a nice brown color, leaving Latra in awe at the skill of Ivy's cooking. With dinner set, the guys from Blazing Sword awe at the food and sit to enjoy. With just a tiny bite, they begin to tear up, making Ivy nervous that the food isn't to their liking. But no, they were crying in joy over how great it is. Even with the wild rabbit, there isn't a hint of gaminess, and an aroma that is beautiful. Ivy knows that food cooked together with nice smelling leaves at high heat helps remove gaminess from the meat, and wonders if people around here don't know about that. Mila arrives back, ready to enjoy the meal that Ivy made, and blushes at the delicious taste. Nuga almost chokes from eating too quickly. Shifal was worried about leaving Latra in charge of dinner tonight. But wait, did Ivy do all the cooking? Latra nervously tries to defend himself, but Ivy covers him, saying they made it together. With his skill adjusting the heat, Ivy was able to cook very well, and to deflect their attention further, he shows off his skillful display of fire magic, and everyone enjoys the fireworks. She notes that if they had some variety of metals, the flames could even be more beautiful, so Mila pulls out pieces of broken equipment, and Ivy ties them into a firecracker for Latra to fire, and when he lights it, an array of colors blows above the campsite. A beautiful marvel unseen before in this world. Later that night, as Ivy cleans the dishes, Seizelk comes over to tell her to take a break, since Ivy cooked for all of them. However, she begs them to let her clean, as a thank you for saving her and escorting her to their camp. Seizelk says fine, but he wants to clean up with her, and Latra falls because Ivy is so adorable and earnest. She really is a sweetheart. Latra coddles Ivy because he's always wanted a little brother like him. and the rest of the gang comes over to beat him up. Ivy makes it inside her tent, offering the sleeping Sora some blue potions to eat. He's cheery, but she shushes him to quiet down because people are sleeping. After he falls asleep, we see Ivy combing her hair, and she reflects on the day. She's glad the group of adventurers she's met are good people. With lights out, we see Shafal saddened that little Ivy traveled all the way here by himself. Nuga thinks Ivy is too thin and must not have been eating well. Seizelk thinks Ivy is too conscious of others, because Ivy gave an anxious look when being told to rest. And with the happiness Ivy expressed when being allowed to clean, it's as if Ivy has had it in his head that if he isn't useful, he'll be cast aside. All while Latroa lies in his bed hearing them all, he chews on these ideas. But still, the night ends with Ivy and Sora resting peacefully. Watch this next video. It's me, Comfy Tea. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.